Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the Washed Athlete Podcast. This is episode 24, which means, according to collegetimes.com, this is the age that you get along with your parents the best. We did not do that for episode 23 of the podcast, but 23 is kind of a crappy year. So we're going to go with that. I think 25, 25, you can do something at 25. So we got that one locked up for the next episode. This is a very special episode because today we are bringing on our first guest of the podcast. Let's give it up for Mark, longtime viewer of the pod. I think he's probably watched every episode up to this point. So, Mark, it is good to have you here.
I love you, Mark.
Congrats.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you.
So before we start asking Mark questions, roasting him on tier lists and such, Jacob and I wanted to show everyone our Target finds from yesterday because you may have seen the IG live, but we got some heat from Target. So Jacob, do you want to start off with your big Target find?
I will. So I got two things from Target yesterday, and I had no intention of going. The first thing I got, or I'll show this first.
Well, hold on, Jacob, to cut you off, mind you, we had one intention of going, and we never got that object because they didn't sell it. So
kind of a bust of a trip, but
a little bit.
We found the more important thing. So the first thing I got were the Zapp's Voodoo chips. Absolutely fantastic. My favorite type of chip to be. Probably.
Would they be on the S tier of chips tier list?
100% would be.
Make sure you go drop a like on that chips tier list.
Shameless plug counter number one. Jacob, they sell those at Costco.
Oh, then, well, I don't have a Costco membership, so I guess I'll have to go with you next time.
Yes, you have a
Costco should really be
Costco
giving us we're a Costco stand, so really Costco should be giving all of the boys free Costco memberships.
Exactly.
Honestly.
And then the second thing I got was this Quick Ball Pokeball, and it came with a Chimchar. So I'm a huge fan of the Sinnoh region.
It came with a Chimchar.
I'm a huge fan of Sinnoh region in Pokemon, and they don't really give the Sinnoh region love with toys and stuff from what I've been able to see. So
they're biased.
It's awful. And I mean, Justin, I know you're a big fan of Sinnoh. Andres, you're a fan of Sinnoh. Raj, you're a fan of Sinnoh, but it's just not getting the love it deserves. And Mark, I don't know if you're into Pokemon at all. Yeah, Justin's got the. Oh, you are. So, what's your favorite region, by the way?
Honestly, it's probably Johto because I have the best time.
Johto, we got a hot take. 2 minutes and 38 seconds into the pod.
We're gonna have to come back to that right quick, but I don't know about that one. I want to hear his case.
You're right. You're probably right.
But anyways, so I grew up watching the Diamond and Pearl anime, so I was a big fan of the Sinnoh Pokemon. Chimchar being one of the starters, fire starter. So
he is so ugly.
I got the Chimchar.
He'd get bullied at school.
It was really cool in theory, but it's super clunky. It just doesn't really look that good, but at the same time, it's Chimchar, so I kind of had to get it.
Dude, that Chimchar's canonically accurate to what Paul did.
Yeah, I was about to say, Paul's Chimchar's looking like that.
So yeah, I'm happy. At the end of the day, I'm happy I got it. If it was an Infernape, that would have been even better. But even though it's not that.
Oh God, what would an Infernape?
I don't know.
Like?
And part of me doesn't want to know, so it doesn't ruin why it's an Infernape. But or if it had an Electivire, that would have been really cool. That's probably my favorite Pokemon. But you just got to rock with the Chimchar. So here we go.
Great find. So when we were at Target, we were looking for some card stock, and they had no card stock, so we didn't buy any. But we got the important object everyone's here for. So first off, Pop Funko Zola Vision from What If, just great. They've all got bobbleheads now. It joins the collection of Wanda, which my friend gave me for my birthday, and then we got a lot of armpit shots here. We got Wong. So we got two Multiverse of Madness characters here, and we got Zola Vision on lock. So ever-expanding collection. We got a lot of Pop Funkos at home, so maybe if I'm home one day recording a pod, we can showcase them because that's what the cool kids do on the pod. Number two was when I went to go buy the next item that the last item I'm gonna show. Jacob pretty much coerced me into buying this because it's a collectible. So we got Bag Tag Harry Potter. We had 12 options. We ended up probably with the most basic of them all, which is kind of an L. But, It's cute. We're gonna hang it over on my lighting system, so I look very tan on the pod and well lit. So kind of a W, but we wanted Gold Harry. But last but not least, when you go to Target, there's one thing you need to buy, and that is Pokemon cards. So I think we got a decent pull over here. We got like a Pinsir, a Braviary, and whatnot. So I think it's solid. But we're gonna put them on the back burner, keep them around for another like 20 so years, and see what they're worth then. So.
Oh no, they're gonna be $2.
Exactly, but I only paid like $5 for the pack, so we'll get the money's worth. They might get thrown out. I don't know. We'll see. But went to Target for something, didn't get that, but ended up with a lot of collectible items that are just going to take up space. So life's great. So, wow, did you guys hear that motorcycle?
That was crazy.
That was wild.
Yeah.
That's like a throwback to when the ambulance came on during a hot take I had during the pod.
Speaking of hot takes, are we just gonna ignore what he said?
We gotta go back to the.
Okay, we'll get to Johto and then we'll introduce Mark. So Mark, defend yourself here. Johto being the best Pokemon region.
All right, so I think it's pretty undeniable that Soul Silver and Heart Gold are some of the best Pokemon games out there. I know at least I had the best time playing those games. So I would correlate the best games with the best region. Although you could say there's a caveat that has Kanto in it and maybe whatever. But hey, Johto, it followed up the original. It hit even harder. Incorporated the entire first game. I don't know. I don't really know how else to defend Johto. My favorite Pokemon is not even from the region. But I have the Pokeathlon. I don't know. I dropped, like probably 100 hours in that thing, just trying to get first in everything. So that's...
You played the games?
That's
all I got.
Playing Pokeathlon.
Playing the Pokeathlon is kind of cringe. It's like doing the pageants and the contest because when they
actually do the side quest,
it is it is a drag when you have to do the contests and Diamond and Pearl. But Mark, here's my problem: the starters of Johto are undeniably garbage. You got Cyndaquil, which is just a fire type Pokemon, just fire type. Then you got not Cyndaquil, Chikorita, who's arguably the worst starter of all time. Pure grass types are awful, and Meganium has nothing. Competitive players would rather use Bayleaf than Meganium. That's how bad it is. And then you got Feraligatr, who does look cool, but again, it's just like a basic water type Pokemon, and that's before the water type was split into physical and special. So like Feraligatr was a physical Pokemon using only special type moves. Like that's how bad the Johto starters are. So I don't know if I can get behind this.
I would even say that
Johto love.
I agree that Heart Gold Soul Silver is probably the best Pokemon game, but I think it's mostly because of the post game. I think playing through the Johto region is painful and like just very boring and like drawn out. But because of like all the content it has in the post game, where you can get like you can go back to Kanto, you can go fight Red, you can like get different legendaries from different regions. Like that's awesome, and I love Heart Gold Soul Silver for it. But I think that just Johto on its own, like I think the region isn't like I don't think that there's any Pokemon from the region that are like that great. Like it's got cool legendaries, but aside from that, I can't remember many Pokemon from the region specifically being like, wow, like that's Johto, like that's really cool. The gym leader, I just can't really. There's nothing really from playing through Johto that makes me want to say it's great. I think personally the best region. I might really have to go Hoenn over Sinnoh. I'm not necessarily my favorite region, not necessarily my favorite, but I think Hoenn low key might be the best region.
You're selling
best starters.
I would
for
say
sure,
all
Hoenn.
around Hoenn
Absolutely.
has. I think Hoenn has.
No.
I think it has
best starters. Come on.
It's a toss up between Hoenn and Sinnoh for the best starter. I mean, I'm only talking about the first 4 gens, anyways. But like out of the first 4 gens, I think that it's going to be either Hoenn or Sinnoh that is the best region. Sinnoh has the best like regional bird, but without a doubt.
And I'm just looking through this list of Johto Pokemon, and I'm just like, this is awful. Like it's like
Only the
a
legendary.
list of just like it's a list of like baby Pokemon like Pichu and Clefable, or not Clefable, but whatever the pre-evolutionary is being there. And then there's Pokemon like Gligar and not Honchkrow, Murkrow, but they don't have the evolutionary line completed. So you've got like half done Pokemon or like baby stages of Pokemon, and you don't care about the baby stages of the Pokemon.
Now, I do have a question for Mark. Which game did you choose of those, and then who is your starter?
Which game did I choose the most? Like, what?
Like that you chose out of those, like Heart Gold or Soul Silver?
Like which version you picked?
Oh, I chose.
Yeah, which game?
I chose Soul Silver. Because little known fact, I am a twin.
That's
so
not
what my
it.
mom would do, they would buy both versions. I would get one. My twin would get the other. So I guess it was my turn to pick, and I picked Soul Silver because silver's a cool color. And my starter, Cyndaquil, hands down, great starter. I don't care what Jacob's saying, what Andre's saying, what Token Brown guy is saying.
For context to all the listeners, everyone's name for everyone on listening to the pod on the video system we have, everyone can name themselves. So Andres' name is Token Brown Guy, but no one on the recording.
Raj's name is
My name is Token Brown.
Oh yes, Raj's name is Token Brown Guy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But what I was saying, Chikorita, yeah, whole evolutionary line, absolute garbage. But Fraligator line and Typhlosion line, those two are badass. And I will die on this hill that they are great starters. I don't care how they perform in competitive play. Just over-level the hell out of them, and they are amazing. They look great.
So you're saying it's
and
better
I will
than
die on this hill.
firefighting.
Only
Like,
Fraligator.
it's not better than Infernape. Definitely, it's not even close to as good as Infernape. It's not as good as Blaziken, and it's not as good as Charizard. And then you have I would say it's Blastoise is like okay, but I mean I don't know, it's okay. Then you have Swampert, which is amazing, and then you have Empoleon, which is also
No, Fraligator not over Blastoise.
That's a low-key hot take guy, but
What
not.
I will say is
better than
Croconaw
Swampert.
is like the perfect awkward stage Pokemon. Like he looks so
He's
awkward.
dope. He's
I love
dope.
it.
But I would
He's
still
dope.
take
I like
Swampert for Alligator, and I would probably take Empoleon over for Alligator. Like Swampert is amazing.
Oh, Swampert wipes.
The Hoenn starters don't miss.
They really
don't
don't,
miss.
honestly.
Those Hoenn starters, they don't miss.
I think
But
Sceptile's
it's
a little
still
bit of a
so
miss
cool.
because of
Like,
the solo
he can be
typing.
so fast, such a good
Yeah, but
attacker.
Sceptile's just dope. He's so tough. He's so tough.
I don't know.
Well, now that we've got our Pokemon debate out before the pod, let's introduce everyone to Mark. Obviously, as we mentioned in the beginning, longtime listener of the pod, been there since day one. I know Mark from school, so he's on. We appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the comments. Definitely helping out the pod. So if you haven't liked, subscribed, followed the pod, make sure you go do that. Listen on to all of our episodes. We have a whole back catalog of 23 episodes plus all the extra cycles we've done. So go take a listen to those. So Mark, we are the Washed Athlete Podcast, and with being the Washed Athlete Podcast, all of us have our own history of pretty much failing at athletics and never being able to move on. So we want to know, Mark, are you currently in professional athletics, which I know the answer is no, and tell us your washed athlete story.
All right, so my washed athlete story begins at the ripe age of like 3. That's when my mom and dad enrolled me in soccer, and been doing all the sports since. So my sports list goes soccer, basketball, track, cross country, and one brief stint in baseball. Other than that, I don't know. I'm a free agent. I'm a jack of all trades, and all throughout growing up, 1st through 8th, I was always rotating each sport. So spring and fall would be cross country or track and soccer, because I don't know how your schools did it, but we had both. And then during the winter, I'd always be big man in basketball, because I don't know how you guys were, but I had to grow spurt real early. and I hit that in 8th grade. Haven't grown an inch since. All my friends from grade school and up, they've already passed me. It's wild. It's wild. They passed me as the big man,
Andre
and now
Siraj
all
never
my
had a
friends are
growth
taller.
spurt, so they don't understand.
Relative growth spurt. I started high school at 4'11" and ended high school at 5'7".
I still wouldn't want to say that.
I
on
think
a
5'7" is
podcast,
a little
but-
generous there, pal.
It was a relative growth spurt.
So continue, Mark.
All right. Well, then my journey after peaking in basketball in grade school, I focused my
Understandable.
sports up. So in high school, I did track and I did soccer. And then briefly at the end, I did cross country. But for the first 3 years, I played soccer because I thought, hey, I want to make the team. I want to do varsity. I want to do all this. So first year, JV, not much playing time, but I get in here and there. They put me on defense, my natural position. Second year, I get a lot more playing time. I'm looking to make that jump to varsity the next year. So I'm working hard in practice. But as everyone knows, the off season, maybe not really soccer focused. I was not in a travel team. I like to do other things with my time, like hang out with friends or girlfriends or whatever the heck. And by the time junior year came around, I was still at that JV level. And in camp, I quite possibly had the worst game of my life. I was put in at almost every single position on the field, and I just sucked. I didn't know what was up, but it was probably the reason that my entire junior year, I barely got any playing time, but my team went to states. So they think, hey, everyone contributes on states. No, that's wrong. Because what my program did was in August they had practices, however, had a disease, hand, foot, mouth. Couldn't play all of August. And then what my program did, they didn't have a single practice from September to October. So the entire month and a half, there wasn't a single practice, not a single opportunity for me to prove myself. So I was just riding the bench and not getting any
Wait,
playing
hold on,
time.
Mark.
JV coach was already looking to, yeah.
I want to reevaluate this hands, foot, and mouth thing. What was going on?
What are you asking?
Well, I'm asking what this hands, foot, and mouth disease thing was.
Oh, it's just a virus or whatever. Makes you look all
No, I
ugly.
got that. Did it wipe through the team?
There's only one other kid who got it. So besides
okay.
me and him,
I thought we had a locker room epidemic.
yeah. So everyone else. No. It was like a weight room epidemic going on at my school. I unfortunately got it, and nothing I could do. I don't know. But only one other kid got it, so no one else was really affected on the team. So everyone else was able to practice, not me. So come time for playing time, I didn't get any because I couldn't show myself off in practice, and the last time they saw me, I absolutely stunk. So my team goes on, win states, have all the celebrations, all like that. And the next year, when it was coming time to choose what I wanted to do my fall sport, I'm like, So I go back to soccer, where I'll be celebrated on senior night. I'll get that playing time for about 10 minutes before, they pull me. Or do I want to go to a completely different sport, actually maybe enjoy myself? Because what I left out of the story, and Justin might know this too, because I know he did soccer, coaches are, and I had quite a few of those, but there was one guy in particular, not naming names, didn't like him, he didn't like me. So it was either go back to that environment or choose a completely different sport. And I ended up choosing cross country for my fall season, enjoyed myself. As soon as I walked on, I was instantly the best varsity boy or senior boy, whatever. The same thing. Because there were only 2 other kids on the team running cross country who were guys. And I don't know, instantly top tier. And then I did track my spring seasons, but that's another wild can of worms. Like I ran track very, very good. Cut that in post.
You ran good.
Um,
It's not getting
ran-
cut. I hate to break it to you.
That's funny. Anyways, I ran track well my freshman year. My events were mid distance, so I was running the 400 and the 300 hurdles.
That's hard.
Because I thought, hey,
That's
might
not
as well
mid
try.
distance.
It's less than 400,
The 400 's
so
a
it's
lap.
mid distance.
Someone translate that for me. I don't know track.
If you can't run the 400 without,
Those are the
Okay.
sprints.
if you don't sprint
That's sprinting.
400, you're gonna lose. Like you got to be like, and the 300 hurdles is like such a difficult. Like doing hurdles
Yeah.
in general is just difficult.
You
But
have-
doing that for almost an entire lap around the track is just unbelievably difficult. Like more power to you that you did that. I could never. What were you running in the 400?
I topped out at 1 minute, and that's the last time I recorded how fast I was able to go in the 400. So my sophomore and senior seasons had absolutely no idea how fast I was going, because the problem was the track team wasn't very well run. So I went to a few meets my freshman year, just a normal thing. But then my coach quit for my sophomore year. So we ended up only having 3 meets, and I just never found out like what times I was getting in the events. No one was ever telling me because they were probably faster guys, and I was okay with that. Junior year, I don't know why. I just didn't want to have to deal with all that, so didn't do my junior. Senior year, came back. I was looking to impress. I was going to do high jump too, because a lot of my friends were in high jump, so might as well jump with them. But something came up my senior year, and I just didn't go to school after that. So
You have
that's basically
video of
in my
Jacob
story.
Pettiford running the
I don't
Indoor
even remember
400.
How do you have that?
That was LSU
What?
for,
Is that
one of our
split or
meets.
something?
What?
Split?
Yeah.
What?
Yep, that's on mile split. Everyone can go look it up.
What?
Jacob
I can't
Pettiford mile
believe-
split. See his 54:21 PR in the outdoor 400.
I mean, if we all ran high school track, then there's got to be 4 of us on there.
Oh yeah, I can find a lot of
Wow,
people
I didn't
stuff
even remember you.
on
Where'd
here.
you find that video? Did I send that to you?
Good luck.
Let's see. No,
What in the world? Okay, that's not when I ran the 50.
no, it's on mile
I ran
split
that-
because they
that was
record some
the-
indoor meets.
Yeah.
So I can like
Wow, that is like that was at LSU one time.
No, that's not the
wild that you
54, that's just a
found
random
what
indoor
in the
meet.
world.
Mm-hmm. I got a mark.
King of
Oh, I don't want to
doxing.
say your last name. I'm gonna change that out real quick.
Oh, so
I
cut
can't
that
find
in
you,
post.
Mark.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I was
we will
kind
be-
of not good. So
I mean,
Yeah.
don't put yourself down. I don't think any of us here were really
Well,
that
even
good. That's
still,
why we're all
54, like,
not
you won't be
competing.
going-
Jacob was
Exactly.
actually kind of good,
you
but
still
like
won't be
not
able
the
to
rest of us.
D1. Like there'll be kids running like 49s, like 48s, and like the 400. Like I can't. Not only will I,
Oh, no,
I
yeah.
would have not been able to like sustain like a fast pace. I wouldn't have been able to run that fast in general. So like I just wouldn't have been able to compete against them. So like there would be some meets. There's one Sugar Bowl meet that they
Yeah.
had at one of the stadiums in New Orleans, and like there were kids that were just running like sub 50, and it was like I wasn't in the same heat as them, but like they were going, and like even like some of the people that were running like sub 50, they would get to like the final stretch and they'd be like probably like they would be like 10, 15, 20 meters ahead of the rest of the guys, but the rest of the guys are probably still going to be running sub 50s. These guys would just be so good. So like it's all like it still is all relative.
Yeah. No, I say with like genetics, it's like there's certain things where it's just like I could never be a professional runner because I physically like cannot run fast enough. Like my legs will not move fast enough no matter what I do to like ever get to that level, which is like it's not a bad thing to like just be honest in the fact that like yeah, you just don't have what it takes to like be at that level. Like sometimes it's not in the cards for you, or if you just never like you can only if you start a sport really late, like only people that like have freakish athletic genes can start like sports late and still succeed. I mean, you hear stories like Joel Embiid who played volleyball and like joined basketball his junior year of high school, was playing JV basketball. There's an iconic video of him like not going up for a layup and then like running under the basket, then jumping up because he realizes he's going out of bounds and then like turning it over. It's like an embarrassing video of like 16-year-old Joel Embiid playing basketball for the first time. But besides like those situations, like you need to be doing the sport since day one and you need to have good genes. So Mark, in your athletic journey, what's like the one thing that you're like, if I did this, maybe I had a chance to compete in college?
I think the only way I would have been able to compete in college is if I completely scrapped soccer, I completely scrapped cross country and track, and joined the football team and was their kicker. Because that was
That's a great answer.
I had
That's a good answer.
I had a foot, but I just couldn't put it all together. I wouldn't have ever been a wide receiver. I would have never been a safety or whatever, because those would have been my positions in football. But the kicker is probably the only way I would have had any success.
That's fair. Your one thing you would do is completely scrap everything you ever did and just start being a kicker.
Basically.
Or you got to play on like some specialty, or you got to play on some like special teams.
Yeah, I mean, in football, they'd have everyone like who's either new or not a senior play on special teams or barely get any playing time, or at least that was the way at my school. So being a kicker is like the only surefire way that, like, in those early years, if you're the best kicker, you're going to be the one out there, because high school kickers, for the most part, they just aren't great.
They're so bad, so bad. You know, like when your high school kicker is going up to hit like an extra point, you're just like, there's a 50% chance he's going to shank this.
Absolutely.
Like, Jacob, I know your school's a little bit better at football. I don't know if it was like that at your school, but like, man, my school, like middle of nowhere, New Jersey, like, I mean, you're shanking extra points. Like you're lucky if the snack gets held, to be honest with you.
Like I was on the field goal team, so like I would be like I was like on the wing, not like rushing, but like trying to protect. So and like no, because they would have to just run around me. So my job would I just have to.
You're the type of guy that Cam Chancellor would jump over.
My like arm outwards, so they can't get between me and the guy next to me, and then they just have to go further distance around. So like if they could just get around me like that quickly, then fair enough. But no, they couldn't be jumping over people, and you couldn't touch the. I think that you couldn't like pull them down and like jump over them like that. I think I want to say that was legal, but like in practice we would like the people when we were like practicing that like everybody on the sidelines would be like yelling as loud as possible and like being so obnoxious so that like it would be like simulating like a game like environment, and it would be really funny. And then like, you know, if we're going out at like certain distances and like rushing to the ball to kick, like it would be funny like that. And then I actually remember one time my senior year, we were playing this one team, and we were down, like we scored a touchdown. We were still down 27-28, and we needed to kick a field goal. So we had a special like code word in case like it's a bad snap or something like that. So but we never used it because like we would like my good friend or my best friend Jack is he was our field goal holder, and he was like really good at it. So he would usually just be able to hold it down. But it was apparently some bad snap, and he called the code word, but I didn't hear him, and I was supposed to run out on a route, and I just didn't hear him at all. So I typically would look over my shoulder to watch the ball go in, and then like go in through the uprights. And then I didn't see that, and I turned around and I saw Jack running for his life, and I was like, "Oh shoot! Like I need to go run out for a pass." But at that point, it was like basically too late. He like got the ball off. The guy, like our kicker, caught it, and he made like one guy miss, and then like he got tackled because there were just way too many people there. And then it was like a hilarious. I mean, it's hilarious in hindsight, but there's one clip of a guy that was in he was on the team. He was in our grade. He was just like absolutely freaking out, so mad at Jack, and it like, I mean, it sucked because we lost the game by a point. But I mean, it was a funny story. But I don't know. I'd say overall we were like relatively good. Like we didn't miss that many like extra points. We would still miss them though, you know, from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as if.
Yes, my team was overall relatively good. It's almost like we had the #1 quarterback recruit.
Almost as if. Jacob, what you're describing about like spacing out on the block, it just like reminded me. So currently, not that anyone listening probably knows because no one knows about track and field, but the track and field world championships are going on, and so I had the picture pulled up my phone. But this cameraman like went out to go film. I don't know if it was a steeplechase going on or if it was some field event, but he went out onto the track and he just like spaced out. So like the runners literally like engulfed him, like you can see on this picture here. That's the cameraman. I got my ring light there. But like that's the cameraman, like right over there in purple, and all the runners are try to get a good shot there, all around him. So like all the runners had to like start running around him because the cameraman was just spaced out, had no idea like where he was, and just like one of those moments where you're just like, crap, like how did that happen?
He wants to go down as the GOAT cameraman.
No, like it's getting like it's like the only thing that's like kind of going viral off of like the world championships, which like track and field people are like, this is ridiculous. This guy needs to be fired. But I'm like, yo, this guy's giving us like the most attention than anything. So
like
just a nice
having to
space
run
out
around
moment.
somebody when they like otherwise wouldn't need to, because that's just exerting so much energy. That's wild. Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, no one fell, and the race was really slow.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I think that was all good. But it could have been really bad. Yeah, I mean, you think about if someone like ran into them, and you're like, well, your world championship just got ruined. Like this, like track and field events are very like you have one or two shots a year to do something big. Like the world championships, like you need to like medal at those to be like to win money, to get like sponsorships and whatnot, to like make a living. So like just think about like someone who like relies on that. And if it's the final, you don't get to like rerun. They don't like, it's not like the 10K gets run and they say, oh, someone fell, we'll just run it back again. Like, not, you ain't doing that again. Same thing with the marathon. It's not like, oh man, like somebody got in the way of the marathon. Like some dude got tackled in a marathon before. He was coming to the finish line and some like spectator came out and like tackled first place. After running like 26 miles, you have 0.2 left, you get tackled because some spectator wants to ruin it. And I think he was so far in first place that they were like, you're getting the gold medal because like you would have finished first. Like it was very evident at that point. But that was like a really bad situation. Just like I'd be pissed after like if you had told me after like my marathon that like at 26 miles someone would have tackled me to the ground, I would have been like, nah, like that ain't it. Yeah, not a dub. So Mark, that was a good answer about your what you would do to restart your washed athlete story, to get rid of your washed athlete story to a success story. Because honestly, like that might be the only thing you could have done.
Probably.
All right, so we're going to transition a little bit from your washed athlete story of being a failed athlete. Congrats, you've been invited to the club. We're going to talk about what you currently watch in terms of sports, because obviously all here we're big sports fans. Jacob is you're a Steelers fan. Andres is a Giants fan, which is disgusting. Peter's a Giants fan. Raj and I root for the Birds, which is obviously the best football team in the NFL. But you have a very interesting relationship with your football teams because, as I recall, you are a Browns fan and sometimes a Steelers fan. So talk about your just fandom of football in general, where that stems from.
All right. So I was born here in Pittsburgh. So Steelers, born and raised, have to be a fan of them. And they've just been so good for so long. That's why I'm a part Steelers fan. However, I wasn't really big into like watching football until 8th grade. And at the time, the worst team in the league was the 1-15 Cleveland Browns. Now, my favorite part about the NFL, it's not the actual games, it's not the Super Bowl, it's the off-season evaluation process. I don't know why, but I just love looking at all like the prospects, seeing like who's going to get who, what my team's going to get, and I just fell in love with the Browns during that 1-15 season. I don't know if it was like I felt bad for them and then they just had the most news stories about them because they had the first overall pick, but I just really liked them. So draft time came. They had a number 1 overall pick. They picked, I think, Myles Garrett. A couple other guys didn't really pan out. But yeah, I got to follow the entire offseason process, loved it, and then I was super hyped for the first time NFL season. I had my own team, the Cleveland Browns. And one caveat, it might seem weird to some people to be a Steelers and a Browns fan. I've never seen a rivalry between the Steelers and the Browns. The Browns had to have been good, like at any point in their existence, for them to have a rivalry. So for me, liking the Browns, I never felt any animosity. It's never felt weird, and just I don't know. I didn't see it as a problem. And do you know how the Browns rewarded me?
Yeah,
My
didn't
first
you guys
season
have
rooting
Deshaun
for them?
Kaiser at quarterback?
16.
Not winning a single game.
Yeah,
That
works.
That's Deshaun Kaiser at Notre Dame, second round. Love
He
that
was
kid.
okay at Notre Dame, but he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, really
He
did.
was
Traded
0-16.
him to Green Bay.
Calm it
Never
down.
seen
I don't
him
even know
again.
who Deshaun Kaiser is.
That was no, that was before his time. That was before his time.
Good old Browns. Johnny Manziel too.
So, Mark, I think
That was before.
That was before me. I lucked
yeah.
out. I didn't have to do.
Who was after
Johnny.
Kaiser? Wasn't it Keenum?
Mayfield
Wait,
and Tyrod.
yeah. Who was after Kaiser? Was it Keenum?
No, it was Tyrod Taylor for 3 games and Mayfield.
Oh right, Tyrod.
Mm-hmm.
so. Mark,
Yeah.
I mean, I think a big thing we have to talk about here is what were your reactions, thoughts, and feelings about when Myles Garrett took his big old helmet and smashed it into Mason Rudolph's head? Because I mean, you're saying you're a Brown Steelers fan here, and that the rivalry really never existed. But I mean, we got like actual violence, suspensions, and possible racial slurs happening on the football field. So, take us to the mind of you going through that experience.
So I mean, it's just the end of the game. Browns are up. I'm ready to call it quits for the night because I think it was the Sunday night game or something like that. And then out of nowhere, my the best player on our team just decides to use his helmet to bash in some pretty boy daddy's son quarterback. And at the time, wait, what's happening? Oh, that's not supposed to happen. I don't know. There's a lot of emotions going on at that time, and I instantly knew. Oh, well, see, Miles, your jersey's not getting bought by me or any of the fans this offseason. And I don't know. That's really all to tell. Didn't like it. You don't want to see a helmet be used as a weapon, but at the same time, it shows he has that killer mentality, and he's ready to sack the other quarterback at any moment. So
And assault him as well. But
uh,
going off of what,
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're not a Steelers.
so who did you root for when the Steelers and Browns played each other in the playoffs?
there was no question in my mind. It was the Browns. They are my main team.
I think you lost Jacob.
Yeah.
But my team is the Browns. And if the Browns are having a bad season and it's week 17 and it's the Steelers have the chance to make the playoffs,
So
but
isn't
the
that
Browns
literally
don't, I'm rooting for the
bandwagoning,
Steelers.
though?
It's
Isn't
something
that
like that. I root
that's
for the
literally
better
bandwagoning,
of
though,
both
right?
teams. And
Kind of.
if they both have equal opportunity to make the playoffs, I'm all Browns.
You lost Jacob.
But no. I get that. No, I totally get that.
No,
I'm saying, but when
you
decide
cannot
to
call me a
root for the better
bandwagon
of
fan.
either team,
I suffered
I think
through
you decide
0-16.
yeah.
Who is
But when you
bandwagoning
decide
off
to
of that?
choose for the team that is just doing better, wouldn't that be technically bandwagoning?
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that jump and ship?
No, because I've been a fan since both of them since Nom. So I don't see it as a bandwagon thing. I see it as I want one of my teams to make the playoffs so I have more reason to watch the playoffs. it's just more fun for me as a fan to be able to watch at least one of my teams go through rather than like both lose the opportunity.
So I think what you're saying is that you're a fan of both of them, and if they're both doing well, you'll root for them. But if one's doing bad, yeah, so you're just saying that you're a big fan of both teams, not so much that you decide that you're going to not follow one team for the season if they're bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the start of every season, I'm rooting for both of them.
I do think
even
it's
week
one of the most
one,
Brown
like
things
if they're
ever,
facing
though,
each other,
to have
obviously go Browns.
at one point too. Like, I would say
But I want them
caliber
to do the
quarterbacks
best
on your roster.
they can humanly
At least definitely starting caliber quarterbacks on your roster, and for the potential for both of them to not play this entire season for you. And even though Andrew definitely paying, and you're paying both still. You guys still have to pay Baker Mayfield a hefty sum.
They're not both of them are not playing this entire season.
Yeah, I would not have given up a conditional 5th round pick for Baker Mayfield. I know,
you guys also got fleeced for Baker.
He was #1 overall pick. He was really, really good in college. I mean, he had I was watching one of his.
The best part is that it's conditional too.
I don't know if he was. I mean, I don't know if he was as good as he clearly wasn't as good to be the #1 pick, but I mean, he was really good in college. Deshaun Watson, probably the best quarterback I've seen. Not win the Heisman in college. One of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen in college. I have to call it that. At the end of the day, you got to give credit where credit. I mean, Deshaun Watson, I didn't like him when he was in Clemson.
Jacob complimenting Clemson?
Like NFL.
Pick play.
What's been going on gives me more reason to not want to But yeah, I still think you have to give. I mean, I think he still does. They never would, huh? In the national championship game.
Pick play.
Surely they won't run a pick play on the two.
They would never run a pick play. That would be dirty, and that would be against the rules.
You never, they should never have done
Deshaun Watson to Hunter Renfro pick play. That would never happen. That would be a disgrace to the sport.
Quarterback, still starting caliber quarterback. Off the field issues aside, he still is a very good quarterback. So you have to give I think you still have to give credit where credit is due.
Very good at committing felonies too.
Football, needless to be said, there are bigger things in football, but it is the most Brown things ever to have them both on your roster at one point. They probably won't play. Neither one will play. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
I feel really confident in Jacoby Brissett. He has had a great backup opportunity everywhere he goes. It's just fantastic. He will do great. Throwing to Amari, throwing to Donovan, throwing to whoever else we have, Njoku. We will do fantastic this season. And then I heard there's this other guy who's going to come back. Not a great dude, allegedly. But he's going to come back, and he's maybe going to make our team good. Maybe this season, maybe next season. And we're paying him very well to do so.
I mean, I think he is. He's probably one of the better
to allegedly be
a good guy. I mean, Donovan people. Yeah. He's backup caliber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's backup.
Blows my mind. I mean, Donovan Peoples' joke.
No,
he's on the Browns, right?
Now,
okay. I mean,
he was third string, and now he's starter.
Michigan didn't necessarily do as well as he was rated in high school as well as you would assume. And then, he hasn't been great in the NFL. You have Amari Cooper, but you guys had two really good receivers in Jarvis Landry and Odell, but both are gone, right?
Yeah. There are a little bit of issues. Maybe with the quarterback, we might have sent away for a 5th round pick, but those people are gone
conditional.
Now. So
yes, conditional. Don't forget that.
You might get a 5th round pick.
Sent them away. Maybe. Yeah. But we're the Cleveland Browns, and we don't really ever retool or reload.
Purdue?
But we got new guys, and I believe they can take their shoes. We just drafted David Bell. If that name means anything, it doesn't to me. But
doesn't
I looked
either.
it up before this podcast, and I don't. He's some guy out of Purdue. He's supposed to be a really good slot receiver. Yeah.
Does he eat a lot of
But
chicken?
other than that, how am I supposed to answer that?
All right, Mark, you mentioned the draft, and I had the privilege of watching the NFL draft with you, which means I got to hear your very heated reaction to the Browns moving back, then moving back again, and then picking a player you didn't even like. So just talk to me about the draft process, because for you it was an infuriating experience, and then we missed the Browns pick because we were at McDonald's. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, the draft, it was a very fun time. I knew that first day that, hey, Steelers are the only ones I'm going to be watching. But as pertaining to my Browns fandom,
Jacob's just shaking his head.
yeah, it was not a fun day. I think we had a second round pick or something like that, and I was just really looking forward to. There were still a lot of great players left that day, and they just couldn't execute. They wanted, we'll just give these picks away, and then we'll just give them away again. And then when it finally came time that we actually drafted a player, we drafted a kid named Martin Emerson. Now, I've never heard of him before drafting him, and I'm sure as heck you guys have no idea who he is. But apparently he's just some tall corner. He's slow, and I think they only got him just because he's tall. And historically, like, tall corners don't really work out their rookie year. Like, he's going to be exposed a lot. So not only did they trade back,
What pick did you guys?
they made me wait.
What pick did you guys have?
They passed upon a bunch of great players. They drafted a guy who's probably going to be trash, in all honesty. But that's really it. I don't know. It's been a few
No, I
few
can't remember
months.
ever hearing.
I think it's the third. I think
I
it's the
probably
third
said
I mean,
round.
I
round.
can't even remember hearing about him until you just mentioned him.
Yeah, that's where we got Emerson. But
Yeah, you
I didn't like the
guys-
first like 2 picks.
Yeah, so okay. Ready? The Browns' first pick was at 68. And then they got 7. That was Martin Emerson out of Mississippi State. And then they drafted at 78, 99, and then they had a ton of picks like past the 100s. They did end up getting LSU kicker. So shout out to the kickers. Mark, that might have been you if you just stopped playing soccer and running cross country and just committed all on football. But you didn't do that, so you're not in the NFL. And then so since you also are, I guess, a kind of resident Steelers fan, talk about Kenny Pickett, because we got a guy over here right next to me, Jacob, who has a lot of things to say about Kenny Pickett. So I want to know, like, what do you think about Kenny Pickett as well?
Well, you also got the privilege of seeing me react to that pick live and in person.
I did.
Because that was a time. I was telling you at the time, I really want them to go anybody. There was a corner from Washington. Maybe Trent McDuffie. I really wanted him to, because Steelers, they don't have a great cornerback room. There were a few other guys on the O-line and linebackers that I was just hoping they'd take. I didn't want them to have a glamorous pick because they have a lot of needs. And instead, I told you guys I didn't want it spoiled. I heard the NFL jingle, and then Kenny Pickett come out of Roger Goodell's mouth. It was frustrating, to say the least, because why would you get Kenny Pickett, who's not a clear upgrade over Mitchell Trubisky? I think both their ceilings are around Derek Carr. And will either of them actually hit it? No. I think the Steelers were trying to be cute. They saw what Cincinnati did a couple years ago. Got Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr, with the number 1 overall pick after he had an
Burrow.
amazing last season. Burrow, yes, that guy.
Burrow.
They tried doing it, but we've all watched him. We all went to the games. We're all from Pitt. He's going to be okay. But did we really draft a quarterback who's going to be competitive in those games? Who's, in the words of Colin Cowherd, we have the 4th best quarterback in our division. Maybe. I don't, because it's like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burr, and Deshaun Watson now. So are you going to sit here and tell me
even with the Joe Burrow comparison,
Kenny Pickett,
a lot of people were trying to make,
you think Kenny Pickett is really going to be the guy?
He was on the field for
any of those
almost
guys.
Every year he was at college,
and I think you
wasn't
could.
Good.
No,
it's not like he was changing coordinators or anything like that. To my knowledge, I'm pretty sure I want to say he had the same coordinator and was in a similar scheme for the majority of his college career. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm just making an assumption right here. Yeah, I mean, he left going to the bowl game, but Kenny didn't even play in the bowl game. But Joe Burrow just did get on the field, and he also did have very good quarterbacks ahead of him. But he did.
Yeah, no,
I feel like a lot of people
right.
don't think about it. But he did play at LSU a year before he popped off there. But he was under a very bad I guess an offensive scheme that wasn't very conducive to having the passing game, to having a good passing game. LSU traditionally, just hasn't had very good quarterbacks, so they'll just be running the ball with a very talented running back like Leonard Fournette. So when he did get the opportunity with a good coordinator, he popped off and he went undefeated. And Kenny Pickett, it's not I get the base level comparison of okay, final season at college, plays performs very well, and then there's draft stock skyrockets, but it's just not even. I don't even think it's a very fair comparison if you really dive deep into it. Sure, Joe Burrow and LSU had more talent around, but Joe Burrow just played significantly better at the end of the day, and again, tougher competition.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ACC was really comparatively pretty bad this year. Clemson was not there. Miami wasn't really good either. And you usually expect those teams to be better. Clemson has won the national championship, I think, as soon as last time they won was 2018, 2017 or something like that, right? That was whenever Deshaun was drafted. And then you have Miami, who's kind of always been ranked in the top 10, top 12 scene past seasons, and they were just bad this year. So you got the 2 top dogs of the ACC playing really bad this year, and and it wasn't even the Panthers were shooing to win the ACC championship game. It was still a dogfight at times, and we played Wake Forest, who just kind of has a sorry football.
I don't have anything
in the championship. So I'm not really on the Kenny Pickett bandwagon. I hope everything works out for him. But I just think that
I just didn't think
on the podcast we just have a lot of Kenny Pickett doubters.
And I thought, I do typically prefer players that are Power 5 as opposed to players that aren't Malik Willis, just because he didn't play against the same level of competition. I just typically prefer players that do that, have that good competition. And even when I am wrong, I'll still ride, I'll still sit by that. Josh Allen played at Wyoming. Baker Mayfield played at Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield won the Heisman, but Josh Allen's the better NFL quarterback. But I'm still sitting by, wanting to pick Baker Mayfield based off level of competition. But no, I just really hated them drafting a quarterback at that spot. So, Mark, we can definitely agree on that. I can't agree with you being a Steelers and a Browns fan. Not even a little bit. Just because it's... I'm loyal to one team, and then I'll only root for another team if I dislike another team, or if it benefits my other team.
Jacob's inner Hufflepuff is showing right now. He can't. He's too loyal.
And a Liverpool Reds fan.
Jacob's so loyal that he's an Alabama football fan, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and a New Orleans Pelicans fan. But we'll just skip right over that. A fan. So, Mark, do you have anything else you want to say about the Browns? Because we can move right along to a topic that you might not like to get, that you might get grilled on. So, do you have anything else about the Browns?
He's getting grilled.
No, I think until the season happens, there's not really much else we can really talk about.
Sounds good. Well, boys, you know what time it is. It's time to pull up the receipts. Mark, as everyone knows who's been following the podcast and the Instagram, Mark is frequently sending tier lists. Actually, pretty much every week he sends in tier lists, which means he's willing to put his opinions on the line and get graded every week. So today we are going to break them down and try to get some explanation from him. And I think the first place we need to start is his MCU tier list, because this is pulled from our records. Andres gave him a D+. Raj gave him a D-. Jacob and I both gave him Ds. And Peter, who's not here, also gave him a D. So clearly this tier list, you're not passing this class. You're failing. So we're going to pull some things from this tier list, and we're going to need to hear you talk about it. And I think Andres might be locked and loaded to go.
Shang-Chi and D tier.
Yes. And please, I want to know why.
Explain, please.
All right. Saw Shang-Chi. Just going to come out and say it's not a great movie. It's really not. There's a lot of jumping back and forth, a lot of confusing dialogue, and it's really not all too interesting until maybe the last 5 minutes when they bust the dragon out of the one gate thing. And it was just a lot of exposition, them talking, them not really doing a lot of stuff. And I came out of watching that movie and I'm like, wow, that's no, I don't. No, not really. I mean, the one Hulk thing versus the Wizard guy, because I can't remember names off the top of my head. That was cool That was cool for a little bit, but even the Shang-Chi versus his sister, it wasn't that exciting to watch. And I just wasn't all too enthralled with the action scenes, and then in between all of it, I just found it really boring. It was one of those movies where I could put down my phone, go somewhere else, and not even care if I ever got back to the movie or not. It was that only happened to me a few times in movies, and the other ones are on the bottom of the list, i.e. Captain Marvel. But yeah, I just didn't really like Shang-Chi. That's the whole end of it. Not a really thrilling movie to me.
Mark, I'm going to revise my grade, but I'm going to give you a C.
I mean, at least two.
Because you have some bad takes in there, but honestly, it's not as worse as I agree with all your D tiers. So I'm going to move my grade up to a C on the spot.
Actually, yeah.
You said it here first, but I still got issues. But Jacob, you seem ready to go, so let's hear it.
That is no. That is without a doubt the worst Marvel movie I've seen. If I fall asleep, no. No. So
I think it's moving up my list.
But my biggest issue is that you have Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I've started to rewatch it. I think it's better, a little bit better on rewatch.
Avengers, Multiverse of Madness, Guardians 2. What is that? Iron Man or just that? No, that's just OG Iron Man. I mean, even OG Iron Man, I don't like. I'm not a big that's my hot take though. I'm not a fan of OG Iron Man, but having it behind Spider-Man: Far From Home and all these different movies, that is just not a good take.
That's OG Iron Man.
You gotta explain that.
Well, I can explain a few of those. Spider-Man, he's my favorite superhero. So almost any Spider-Man movie I'm gonna want to watch above a Captain America movie. And usually, how I do these rankings, or at least how I did this one, is that I compare the two movies side by side. I'm like, okay, which one would I rather sit down and watch? And as I went through all of them, that's just where it landed. Now, my opinions changed a little, not to the extent where it's at a B tier. The recent tier list this week had like all the movies, and it moved up a little in B tier. Like Thor Ragnarok, it went down. A few others changed places, but overall, Winter Soldier, it just doesn't speak to me. It really doesn't. Like, yeah, the scenes are very amazing. The computer scene where they bomb the one shelter, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the whole like triple death ship thing.
I think you're
that's
leaving out
epic.
one of the coolest scenes in like.
But
Like,
when I
think
look
that's
at the
one of
other
coolest
movies
scenes
on that
when
list,
Captain America is
they
in
just
the
speak to me
elevator and
a
he's
little
like, "You guys
that
wanna,
much
like,
more.
get out before this
It's
everything gets started."
it's just
And then they
not-
all like he notices
not
like
as good
people
as those
sweating,
movies.
like different things that people are doing, suggesting that something's bound to go down. And then he fights everybody, wins, and then has to go on the run. Like, that is such a cool scene. That is pretty cool. I think the coldest
And
scene,
Jacob, the coldest scene in cinema history,
I
besides the
think
Lightning
the
McQueen
coolest
scene,
though, of all time,
where they have the cars
not
pull
movies
up, is
necessarily,
when
but just,
after Cap beats them all up, he steps
know,
on the end of his shield and it goes right back up to his arm.
It has to be when Miguel won the Olive Valley tournament.
Yeah.
Andre, I had to slip
We
in
have to
the
slip it
cars
in there.
reference for you.
What?
We're not talking about Cobra Kai. Come on, no, we're not. We're not talking about Cobra Kai. Raj, did you have anything to say about his MCU tier list, or else we will proceed to move on?
Why do you have Moon Knight in C tier? I just want to know why you have it a little lower than I do. I thought Moon Knight was really good.
It's very simple. Actually, all of the Marvel TV shows were pretty mid, and that's why most of them fall in C tier.
Okay.
Okay.
Like it's hard with a TV show to make it interesting the entire time, and you find it in Loki, you find it in WandaVision, you find it in Hawkeye, and you found in Moon Knight that it's just way too long for its own good. So when I'm comparing it, would I rather watch this movie, which is going to take me, let's say, 2 hours, or do I want to watch the series, which is going to take me like 6 hours? I'm going to choose the movies, and in comparison, the movies just make a lot more sense most of the time, leaving a lot of the TV shows with a lot to be desired.
You should watch it.
Okay, now follow-up question. What are your thoughts on Arrow? This will determine a lot. Just saying.
Nah. Watch it. You gotta watch it all.
I've never watched Arrow, so I
Good.
I don't.
You're better off not watching it. Don't listen to Jacob.
You should watch it all, but season 4, 6, and 7, and then it's a pretty good show.
We can agree
That's
on
like
that.
saying that's like saying I should only watch the first season of Cobra Kai and then maybe the last season. Because those middle two or middle one.
No. All of Cobra Kai is good. We're gonna put that like Cobra Kai is a great. Don't talk any slander about Cobra Kai, or we're gonna go all Cobra Kai on your ass.
I would say
All right.
Then
ridiculous.
hot
Like
take.
there's just things that happen in the show that are like
The first
come
season's
on.
the best,
Like,
and it just drops off. from there.
why don't they like if somebody
I don't know if
breaks
it
into the
drops
house
off.
Uh-oh.
have a karate
The first
fight.
season
Uh-oh.
the first season might be the best,
and
but
for,
I wouldn't
all
say
the
it
things
falls
we
off
talked about,
after
but
that.
like if somebody breaks into our house to have a karate fight for the to control the karate in
Like the
valley,
house
why
fight?
don't they just call the police and something? Oh, for the soul of the valley. The valley. Like, why don't they call the police at one point? So it definitely gets more ridiculous, but like I think that's what makes
It's
me
too late
love
for that.
Cobra Kai, how absolutely ridiculous parts of it can be. And it's just I don't know, it's just one of those shows.
The soul of the
It just
valley,
is.
Jacob. Get it right.
Idiot.
They don't exist.
My favorite part is when Stingray pretends to be a security guard,
Yeah,
and then there's no other security people during the entire school fight
that is true.
except Stingray, who then beats people up. It's like, wait, you mean to tell me a whole entire school fight is happening? Tori's got literally a knife like on her knuckle. She's like literally trying to cut people, and there's no security.
Also, you got security beating up minors.
Yeah. That's assault. So moving off of Cobra Kai, Mark, we're gonna move also off your MCU tier list, which is pretty bad, but we'll scoop over it. Doctor Strange isn't that good. Anyway, going on to the beverage tier list. This got a couple bad grades here. We see Raj in with a D. Now I think this was more of a Fairlife problem, but I want to talk about.
D, you get the D.
I want to talk about cream soda. Because cream soda is in your A tier, and I think cream soda might be about the worst thing that's ever happened to the beverage industry. So explain to me what's going on with cream soda in A tier.
Well, I'd just like to point out that you still gave me a B, even though I had that. But for me, cream soda is one of those traditional... Okay.
Go ahead.
Cream soda is one of those... Cream soda is one of those things that I had every single year during New Year's. My dad would buy the ICBM root beers and cream sodas for New Year's, and that's how we would celebrate. So for me, I guess I grew to love the flavor, and I just think it works super well with anything, and I just love the taste. So that's why it's in my A tier right next to Dr.
I agree with that. I don't drink coffee. Coffee's bad.
I do like a good story to back it up, but cream soda is still nasty.
Is that like Monster Energy? Is that
Does anyone else have anything to say about Raj? No. I mean, not Raj, just Mark's beverage tier list. I mean, obviously, coffee in D tier is an automatic L.
No, but that's also just bad. I would put that probably in dog one.
I just agree with the coffee.
Nah, that's bad.
Coffee.
Coffee is S tier.
Nah, I'm just not a fan of it. Like I just want. Oh yeah.
If it's an energy drink, I put it in dog water.
I thought it was LaCroix.
No, honestly, I might even give you a B plus. Like, there's not that much.
Seltzer water can be pretty tough.
I could probably see like where you.
No. I'm saying like it's pretty tough to like handle. I don't like it. Not like TUFF, more like TOUGH.
It's just carbonated water. What's the hype behind it?
I do have a question also. Milkshakes in C tier feels a little bit low because milkshakes are pretty gas. What's the beef with milkshakes?
Well, as you know, like a lot of people are lactose intolerant, and I know you guys think it's a choice. However,
no, Andre thinks it's a choice.
Just grow up.
When you're going to get a drink, are you ever thinking, "Hey, I want a milkshake"? Maybe that 1% of the time you're like, hey, let's go down to the milkshake factory like we did that one time.
I would drink a milkshake.
But the other times, like, it's a good drink, but I'd rather have so many other things besides a milkshake because it's debatably just a dessert in the form of a drink.
I don't know. I'd pound a milkshake right now.
Yeah, Andres, I don't care. I'll drink it and I'll be more thirsty after the fact. So like I would like it might be some enjoyable flavor, but at the end of the day, if I'm trying to like
I remember you using this. This is Jacob's entire justification for his beverage tier list is like take into account that chocolate things make me thirsty.
Milk is the no. Milk is the worst for me. Milk is at like
milkshakes I get. Chocolate milk is refreshing.
You're like kind of lactose intolerant. You're lactose intolerant when it's convenient.
Wait, how? This is crazy. Me and Raj are outnumbered here by, I guess, lactose intolerant people.
It's because we chose to grow up. They didn't.
Raj, you're like 5'3".
That
was coming, Raj.
Okay.
Raj, once you said that, I knew he was coming.
Yeah, I know.
But no. otherwise, I think the beverage tier list is like tight. Not too bad.
Mine's pretty straightforward.
No,
My,
yours isn't bad, but you had Fairlife pretty low, so I kind of hate you for
That's
that.
that. All right. That's all right. That and I want to go into that because when I grade people's beverage tier list, first thing I do is I see where chocolate milk's at. So on like default, my default grade is where they have chocolate milk at. But the only reason
Mark,
why
I'm on your
I
side
went
of this.
down from a B to a C plus is the ranking of milkshakes and Fairlife. So that's why it's not a B and it's a C+.
Chocolate milk in B tier is a big L.
It's gotta be higher,
It's
right?
automatic S tier.
Yes.
Like
Thank
a
you.
lock. Chalky milk, just goated.
And Justin is lactose
Yeah,
intolerant.
Justin is
Justin is
indeed
lactose
lactose intolerant.
Bang.
Bang!
I'm not even lactose intolerant. That's the thing. It's just like it's a good drink. It's just not S or A tier. Like I'll have it. It'll be a nice recovery drink, but I'm not gonna be having it. And for the Fairlife, I'm pretty sure that's a protein shake, right? Yeah. That's just a personal gripe. I don't like manufactured, store, chemically made protein shakes. I would rather scoop the whey into the milk, do a little stir, and drink that. So the Fairlife thing, that's just a personal gripe for me because I don't like the pre-made stuff because I believe it's just too sugar intensive, and honestly, you could probably do a better job yourself.
I didn't know 2 grams of sugar was a lot, but okay.
It's pretty.
You can't trust anything Raj says about chemicals. Raj is downing pre-workout like it's candy.
Yeah.
Use code WASH20 at buckedup.com.
Yup.
So our last tier list, Mark, before we head out of here, is your months of the year tier list. And the reason I brought this up was I think your placement of January in D tier was quite interesting. So I just want to hear your thoughts about maybe like don't even just talk about like just January, but like your thoughts on the month of the year and how you used it to make your tier list.
Well, I think all of us, when we're crafting our tier list for months of the year, we have to think what's happening during that month, and that's really going to dictate how I'm going to view a lot of these. So, like, I put September.
Was September in A tier because of your birthday? Was it because of your birthday?
S tier, not only because it's my birthday, but the NFL season starts then, and that is literally the peak amount of like excitement towards the NFL is literally week 1 because we had it all off season. We're all hyped for our teams. Our teams can literally do anything, and that's why September is literally one of the best months. Because 1, I was born. 2, the NFL season starts, and I think another fantastic reason for September is that fall starts. And hot take, but I think fall and spring are like both the best like seasons there are. I love the colder weather. If you go on my tier list, you'll see that most of the colder months are towards the top. I just love that kind of weather. That's where my wardrobe is. That's what I like to do. That's where the most fun things are.
Are you rocking with hoodie and shorts weather?
Hoodie and shorts weather. If it's negative 12 out, I'll be wearing shorts. So, yeah. And that all goes around to January. What's happening in January? Well, you get New Year's.
I love January.
But you get the day after. You don't get New Year's Eve. You get the New Year's Day, which, let's be honest, it's not as fun. You're sleepy because you just spent the night staying up. And then you have the rest of January. What's happening? Absolutely nothing. All you get is maybe cold weather, maybe a few babies pop out, a few wombs. That's about it. There's not really anything happening. Like, yeah, you get playoff football, but let's be honest, the real games that we actually care about happen in February. They don't happen in January. Because
okay.
The Eagles, they're going to get eliminated in January. They're not making it to February. The Browns.
Besides the year we won the Super Bowl, which is before the Steelers and the Browns won the Super Bowl, we'll digress.
How many Super Bowls does your team have?
We have 1 Super Bowl. We have 2 World Championships. So that's a total of 3.
Yep.
Hey,
you know what? Browns and Steelers they're always living in the past because their teams are mediocre now. It's a shame.
Yeah. But anyways, that's why I put January so low because there's absolutely nothing happening. And then August is. You didn't ask me about August, but let's be honest. There's nothing happening in August either. School starts.
August is a dead
It's-
month.
It's just not great.
Mark, what's funny is you said school starts,
They
but
could never.
with three New Jerseyans on the pod, school does not start in August.
That is true.
Which wild to think.
It
School
is
starts
literally
in September.
it's literally started for me in August every single year of my life. So,
That's wild.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After Labor
I
Day.
also pump my own gas, so
Listen, I pump my own gas
But
too.
it's weird that you guys like.
I think
that's
I
the thing.
don't.
respect.
I think having people pump your own gas for you is nice.
Oh yeah, it is nice. It's not that we don't know how to do it. Well, maybe some
Hmm.
don't.
It's not really hard. You just go outside, take the pump.
Okay, well we
Yeah,
can pump our own gas.
I think people
so-
think that like New Jersey people can't pump their own gas, which is just not true.
Oh well.
Which there
we
are
have better
some, of
food.
course. There are some.
It's because New Jersey just
Oh, well.
needed more jobs, and
I'll
there you
still
go.
take
Yeah, those are
New
jobs.
Yeah.
over
We are
New
very-
I'll
we are
still
a
take
very
New Orleans
dense
over any
state.
city.
Very dense.
very
Yeah,
suburban.
Jacob, my bad. Our state isn't like 3/4
I
by
would still
you.
take Louisiana over New Jersey. Even still,
Yeah,
At least we're not
because we have like
underwater.
a quarter of our population. Yeah.
doesn't matter.
We're still gonna be.
For
We're gonna
50
still be a
years from
city
now,
in
you
50
can
years.
Did you call New Jersey a city?
50 years from now.
Well, yeah. Well, you know,
come
not
back
saying
and
our
have this
state will still
podcast
be
reunion.
above water.
And if Louisiana is completely
I don't
totally
know,
underwater,
Jacob. That's not
you know
gonna
what?
age well.
Oh well, I'm still taking Louisiana
You're
because
gonna
it's
stick
not-
with it.
it's-
I'm
it's just
I'm
better
giving
than
you a
Jersey.
shot. I'm giving you a
lived in
shot right
Louisiana.
here to take back
It's
what
just
you
better.
said.
I've heard several people say that New Jersey is a drive-through state. You guys have
And
beaches.
Damn, we'll be
Louisiana's gonna
70.
be gone.
I mean, there's other places that have better beaches. You guys have bagels, cool. There's other places that have better bagels. Doesn't New York apparently have better bagels? Okay, and then also, it's a bagel. Who really cares? It's a bagel. That's not like a great type of food.
No, there's not. No,
Whoa.
no,
You're acting like
no.
shrimp
Don't you
and
say
grits is
that?
bad. Have you ever had shrimp and grits?
No.
You guys don't. Oh my gosh, you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Whoa,
guys
bagels are
don't know what
like
you're talking
top
about.
tier breakfast foods.
You
Yeah,
guys
they are.
don't
They
know
are.
what you're
Jacob,
talking
my
about.
bad we don't
Shrimp and
eat
grits
like
is fine.
what do they eat for
You guys
breakfast
have-
in Louisiana? Like shrimp and grits.
Mark, what
It is
Mark,
bad.
What would you take me on this?
Grits
Yeah,
are
Dave
nasty.
Buster's.
Grits are terrible. It's like baby food.
Okay,
Can you guys not chew? Do you have no teeth?
but do you think that bagels
Dude, they
are
wake
good
up and
enough,
eat gumbo. Then for lunch they have a
like they're
crawfish
good enough
boil.
to equal
Then
out
for
the-
dinner, I
like
don't
they're
even know
a good enough
everything.
food to combat the food that Louisiana has.
I mean, I personally love grits.
Like,
Just add
you
a
might
little
not
butter,
like
and
seafood,
they
but you
taste
think
absolutely
that,
amazing to me.
bagels will be able
I
to
hate shrimp,
make their
though,
own. Like,
so
who cares that much?
anything to
about
do with,
having
like,
bagels?
seafood,
Like, at the
just
end of
not
the
for
day,
me.
That's
But
no.
grits, I'm
it's
all.
not that big a deal. Like, nobody like is gonna be like, if you go to Jersey, and you're like, yeah. If you are like who's really like, yeah, I really, 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 really want a bagel. I'm gonna go to New Jersey. Who says that? Except for people from
No,
New
I mean-
Jersey. I have, and it's nothing that great. It's like all right, but it's like okay, huh? Yeah, when we were all hanging out, and you couldn't be there, Andres. Why are they Mickey Mouse?
And that's where you're wrong because you haven't had a Jersey bagel. You've grown up with non-New
did
Jersey
have-
bagels,
did.
so you wouldn't.
That Louisiana's the what?
From where though? From where?
Somewhere at the
Okay,
shore.
Jake, I wanna
New Orleans
change
has
this-
the highest,
Okay, shore bagels.
as of,
Shore
like,
bagels.
what?
Shore
Through the,
shore bagels are
like,
they're Mickey
what?
Mouse Jersey
This year.
bagels. They're not
Jacob.
legit
We
Jersey bagels.
before we talk about this bagel thing, how did you respond to the claim by the
It still has
Humanitarian
so
Aid
many
Society that
tour- it still
Louisiana
has
is the worst state
so
to
many
live for
tourists,
children?
So many people are coming.
How are you
going
gonna
to
respond to that?
How many people are like, yeah, I want
Worst
to
state
go
for
and
children.
visit, New Jersey, versus how many people are like, yeah, I want to go down and visit New Orleans.
It's the worst place for children, has the highest murder rate, and
you guys are talking
it's still
about Camden,
it's still better than
this, Camden,
Jersey,
that
which was ranked
anyways,
number 1 by Wallet
Yeah.
Hub in 2020 for best state.
Like, nobody would ever like have New Jersey on a bucket list of places.
Well, I don't. It's
No,
not all
personally, I
about.
don't want to
Western
live in
not
a
all about.
state where I have a 10% chance of
Like, I feel
dying,
like that's
but
pretty
that's
fair.
all you.
Listen, man, you don't necessarily go to Jersey to do tourism, but I don't think that's like, you don't that's okay, you know.
Justin, what will you do in Jersey though?
What Mark?
What does anyone
What'd you say,
go
Mark?
to Jersey even for? What do people go for
No,
Jersey
that's
for?
but besides, I'm saying the part of the charm of New Jersey is that you're not going to New Jersey to like do tourist activities. Like if you're just a tourist state, like kind of like Louisiana is, like no one really goes to Louisiana besides to go to New Orleans. Like that's all where your like money's going. It's just going to New Orleans. Just New Orleans. Like you got one good thing in your state. Like New Jersey's a very residential
Mark, where would
state,
you want to go?
not big
If you had-
cities,
if you had the
which
choice-
means crime is low. You don't have like super impoverished
Mark, if you had the
areas
choice to go
besides
to
like
one
Camden,
place,
which is like really the only
best
one.
place in New Jersey
Then you
versus
have the
best
Jersey
place in
Shore, which is
Louisiana.
super
Where would
nice and
you
gets
choose
a
to go?
tourist attraction. New Jersey was
Where would
ranked
you-
number
where would
one
you- where would
by
you choose to
Wallet
go?
Hub as
Where
the
would you
best
choose to
state,
go?
and Louisiana was ranked
Where would you choose to go?
48.
Where would you choose to go?
They were 50 in economy, Louisiana, and then 49th in health and education. You're thinking too small-minded. I wouldn't want to raise my kids. I wouldn't want to raise my kids in Baton Rouge. I'll just tell you that.
I think Louisiana is known for one thing, and that's good food, Mardi Gras, and all that jazz. So I would go to New Orleans, go to Louisiana over New Jersey. Because my opinion of New Jersey, what's there? Beach, the waves aren't even that big.
Music,
all right, let's be honest here. They're
Wouldn't say that.
I mean, if you go down to Louisiana, you get to go down to their shores, you get a little bit of oil, you know? That's money.
And you might end up in a body bag. It's fine.
Hey, I mean, that's the risk you're taking. You get some good food, you get some oil to lather up.
I mean,
and,
but
just
it's
have a great
also
time.
not a decision between Pennsylvania and Louisiana. It's between New Jersey and
Well,
Louisiana. And I'm just
It
take
goes back to the argument
Louisiana
of
over New
tourism
Jersey.
versus living there. Like Raj and I, both our parents, immigrants from different countries.
Okay.
Where they choose to
New
live?
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Like I would take Pennsylvania. I would probably.
My parents are not immigrant, but they still chose to live in New Jersey.
Jacob's acting like he wasn't raised in PA for like half his life.
Louisiana definitely has its own problems. I mean, it definitely has its problems. I would definitely admit to that. But I still love living in Louisiana. I mean,
Pennsylvania is ranked the 10th
I
best.
lived
state to
up
live in.
north for time, and there's good.
All
things
I'm
about
saying,
living in the
all I'm
north.
saying is
But
this
I also
40,
have
this
found that there's,
49th in health and
also
education, and
good
this
things about living
50th
in the south.
in
There's
economy
things I
is kind of an L.
enjoy about living in New Orleans versus like living in Pittsburgh and like
No, it has a lot of
places
problems
in Pennsylvania.
apparently.
And I went to Jersey once. It wasn't, it was like, all right, it was like going to a beach. It was cool, but also like, if I'm going to a beach, like I don't, like I wouldn't necessarily be like drawn to going to necessarily New Jersey. Like you would want to go to like, if you're going to be going to a beach and you want to go to like, you're like, I want to go to the best beach that there is. You're not going to be thinking necessarily of like New Jersey, I'm assuming, right? Like there's just definitely better places. Okay. But we're staying, for the sake of argument, we have to stay in the United States. For the sake of argument,
Yeah, but
we
you're
have to stay
looking
in
at
the
it through a
United States, for
tourist
simplicity's sake.
lens.
Because why would you want to go? Okay, so you would rather live in New Jersey than Louisiana. I think it would be best if we both lived.
Yeah,
in
but if
both
I want to go
states
to
for,
the
like,
best beach
years,
possible, I'm going to
not
go to a
do
different
that.
country.
Obviously, we're not going to like swap
You
places.
keep
we're
thinking
living.
tourism. Like I wouldn't want to go. But why do you keep
Go to
looking at
Hawaii.
tourism?
Oh my gosh, that is such a stretch. That is such a stretch. I'm not saying Louisiana's perfect. I'm definitely not saying.
Yeah, but am I
Louisiana's
living
perfect.
in your house
But there's
right
definitely gotta
outside
be
New
places
Orleans,
in
or am I
New
living in
Jersey
the
that aren't that great.
redneck
So-
wastelands of Louisiana where
well,
healthcare
I'm
and
taking
education is
Louisiana
terrible?
every day
People
of the
can't
week.
read. The illiterate,
I'm taking Louisiana
the
every day of the
literary
week.
rate is like
Plus
down
on
the
Sundays in New
drain.
Jersey. I hope my boy Will can come on the podcast.
Jacob, you're
I wonder what he has to say
49th in
about it.
education and health.
Oh, it's 3 people. Okay, we have the one unbiased person here saying he would rather go to Louisiana. Well, okay.
Well,
okay.
New Jersey's ranked
Okay,
number
okay,
one in
we're-
safety.
we're
That's all I'm
wrong
going to
with it.
say.
Okay, it's a 1-1 argument then if you pick New Jersey over Louisiana.
Nah, Will
Yes, let's have some bias, Jacob. That's
Will
fun.
sounds like Will. Nah,
Okay.
He's talking about touring there. We're talking about living.
I mean, personally, I'm not going to Louisiana. There's no chance. I've lived in the North my entire life, and I like to keep it that way. And I feel like Justin did make some good
I
points
want to
that
put my
living
own
there,
stats, but it's not worth the time.
yeah,
I'm
it's a
still
different
picking
story than
Louisiana
visiting.
every day of the
Visiting
week, twice on
is
Sundays.
probably
You guys
the
should
most
come
ideal
down.
point. I mean, New Jersey, I'm pretty sure it's just a suburb the entire time. So that sounds like
Well,
somewhere
You got
people
dirty
live.
runs.
Louisiana's 4th highest in obesity rate, which can correlate with diabetes rates. It's not looking too
Louisiana
good
all
out
day.
there in Louisiana.
I've enjoyed living in Louisiana. I really have. I bet you guys have also enjoyed living in New Jersey. But I bet
Will's
you have
Will's gonna come on this pod. Will, if you're listening, send in an application to the pod. We're gonna get you on. You're a smart man. You're gonna set the record straight that simply living in Louisiana
definitely admit to that.
is not better than living in New Jersey.
I'll admit to that. But also, if the best thing about your state is that you
Living in New
close
Jersey's
to
been
other
great.
places in the state
I've had no
itself,
problems.
like what's the
Got a good education.
What?
Didn't have to go to a private school. Got to go to a nice public school because we have great state education. Healthcare around the area. Yeah, at 49th education. And then we get great healthcare, good nice beach access. We're really close to a lot of cities: New York, Philadelphia.
No,
I think it's part of the charm.
no. It's just no.
Do you know what
It's
happens
just
inside
no.
cities?
It's just
Crime.
No. It's an agree to
You know what
disagree.
happens when you don't live in a
Respectfully agree
city?
to disagree.
No crime. So we don't have crime in New Jersey. We don't have a lot of crime in New Jersey.
Agree
And we
to
minimal,
disagree.
yeah, obviously minimal crime. Every state's got crime.
I
We have minimal crime, and then we just go over to
totally
other
disagree.
cities to visit,
Huh?
and then it's like only 30 minutes away, and they
What?
have the crime. We don't got to deal with it. No,
Okay.
that's your response on record.
Anyway.
No, just no. Nah, you're just wrong. I'm disrespectfully disagreeing with you because I brought up the numbers and you didn't have a response. I didn't say anything. Anyway, I think that is we're about an hour and a half in. I think that is going to conclude this episode of the pod. Mark, thanks for joining us. Do you have any last words before we sign off today?
Yeah, just make sure you like and subscribe to the Washed Athlete podcast. Follow on YouTube, Spotify, and anywhere else that this podcast is out. That's really
And
it.
use code WASH20 at buckedup.com, and we will see you next time on the Washed Athlete podcast. Thanks for watching.
Zion's fat.